Welcome to Dental Unscripted. Where Mike Denzio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
All right. Here we go. Another episode of Dental Unscripted. My name's Mike Denzio. My co-host Paula Quinn is also on the program. What's up, Paula? How you doing?
What's up, Michael?
So we are doing another fun episode. We are live here, and we've got a great speaker and guest on a topic that we've never covered before on the program. After 5 years of podcasting to you guys, we've really never brought in a software like this one. And so before we get into that, I'm going to let Paula introduce Ty here, but little housekeeping as always. If you're listening to this on the wrong channel, you should be on the Dental Unscripted channel, not the Startup Unscripted or Dental Acquisition Unscripted channel. So there's two channels out there that are kind of going dormant, and we are pushing everybody to Dental Unscripted. So get on to the right channel. And again, this new channel is going to be all about practice management, startup and acquisition tips and tricks and concepts and episodes. But this one kind of follows suit in the practice management world. And so without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Paula to introduce our guest and just kind of explain the vision and what we were going for on this this program.
Well, sorry, Ty. I know nothing about you other than you're the VP of Sales of Vyne Trellis Claim Submission Clearinghouse. One of the reasons, I can just tell you why I am passionate about this and want you here is because my job is to reduce overhead and improve workflow and cash flow in a practice and help them grow. And I think, fast, clean claims are the easiest way to do it. So, if you want to spend a second introducing yourself, maybe how long you've been with Vyne and we'd love to hear that. I didn't have any background, so I can't really introduce you other than that.
No problem at all.
You only get a second though, Ty. Only a second.
1 second.
Okay. I'm a fast talker. I've been doing this a while. So Ty Sneddon, Vice President of Sales here at Vyne. I have been in this dental SaaS crazy world for 12 years. So over a decade of experience doing it. And I'm pretty damn passionate about it. It's something that I really and I'm passionate about it because I'm a tech nerd. I love technology and I love how it helps people. That one being the most important. I really am. I know maybe this kind of goes contrary to people thinking salespeople may be a little, I don't know, sleazy car sales guy. It's not, especially in this day and age. It's people trying to find solutions for problems. There are so many in the dental space right now that we know of. And I've had such a riot, for the last 12 years, finding solutions to those problems. And I've been blessed to work for some organizations that are on the edge of innovation with technology to help these practices do that. But man, I couldn't be more excited to be here today and talk with you guys about what it is that Vyne specifically is doing to help these practices.
Yeah, no, we can't wait to hear. I think, from a selfish point of view, like I said, we're all about the financial health of the practice. We don't have a job if we can't do that. And I just think that, of all the clearinghouses out there, of all the claim submission companies we've used, we really, for other than selfish reasons, try to push our jobs toward it. It's we do third party remote billing ourselves, and it makes our job a whole hell of a lot easier. So I probably could almost do this podcast without you, just listing all the things.
Be here, yeah. Maybe
let's do it. Let's go that route.
All the things that it does for my team and making our job easier, but just to entertain. And since you're here, let's let you steal the show a little bit.
Awesome.
Why don't you tell us maybe some of, I don't know if you want to start with, why Vyne over other options out there, why you feel you're superior?
I'm a little biased.
And my word is superior.
Yeah.
So.
Ty, I bet you we have some the audience. They don't even know what Vyne is. So what is Vyne first, and then maybe what the difference is.
Perfect, Michael. Thank
Yeah,
you.
let's do that. So Vyne, now you keep saying like clearinghouse, and we are that for sure, right? Dental claims. We are way beyond that though. We really are, with regards to solving problems. And it really does all come back to that. The thing you're going to keep hearing me go back to as we chat today is, and this is really how my team operates. It's how our platform has now kind of evolved when we go in and look at the platform and the different it's around the problems we're solving. We are not going to go build technology. We are not going to go to market with it unless it solves a specific problem. We're just not signing up for that. And so really, what Vyne is the get you paid platform. That's what we call ourselves, right? We are all about making sure that these claims are getting approved and that these providers are getting reimbursed for the services they've already provided. It's already done. The treatment's been presented, accepted, and it's now been processed. And these claims need to get processed real time. They need to get processed really fast so that these providers can get reimbursed. And then, we take it a step further and we help them get paid on the patient portion as well, which we can get more into as we get going. But
I don't know if I knew that. I don't know.
If you're asking like what Vyne is, we truly are. It's a full revenue cycle management company organization, and it's all around getting these practices paid. And the reason for that is, yes, these are small business owners. Of course, we want them to be able to make a great living, obviously, for themselves and their families and their employees, but it's to allow them to continue to keep going and doing really great dentistry, right? Like that's another really, really important part of what we're doing. And they have to have cash flow to do that. There cannot be hiccups in their cash flow, if they expect to keep going and doing amazing things.
Well, it's usually like, I think Paula said this yesterday, and I loved it. She said,
doctors say great things I don't even know.
I know. Now I'm curious.
Later, I don't know.
I quote Paula all the time. She doesn't.
I just make shit up, Ty. I just started saying it.
I only take the stuff that's truthful, but this is one of those things. I think doctors just like operate every single day, and they're grinding and they're drilling and they're doing all the things they're doing. And they really don't pay attention to the collections or the profitability until something starts hurting.
Until there's a problem. Then
we got a problem here.
Yeah.
So, and so like they just grind. And then one day they pick up their head and say like, wait, maybe I should start digging into this. Cause I can't pay my bills today, or something's tighter than that it normally is. And so then they start digging in, and then they're like, well, crap, like I'm an 86% collection ratio. And, and then so like folks, if this episode might not even be on your radar because you're paying your bills. But if you actually dug in and looked at your collections, Vyne might be pretty important to you. So open your minds up a little bit is where I'm getting at here.
Yeah, so that's what, Ty, you don't even 100% know what we do, but I spend most of my days reporting KPIs to docs and, all kinds of KPIs, but obviously ARs are one of them. And so we're constantly monitoring this and giving them what, national averages are. And I see quite a bit of them. So with that, like, you guys do so much, you do so much on that, but I think, and I want you to get it all out, but I think on the day-to-day grind that we're talking about, how do you think you guys help the most and differently when it comes to that?
Great question. And I would say kind of back to your point though, right? So right now, because we're the Getting You Paid platform, we have to look at it from that lens. And so that lens is, what is the huge overarching problem that we're really trying to solve for? And what we have found is, and we all know, is there's roughly 9.4 billion, depending on the year, maybe more, maybe a little less, but usually more, and it's climbing, of bad debt that gets written off. So back to Mike's point, a lot of times people are just in people's mouths doing dentistry. They're not looking at the other side of the business. They'll get reports and stuff from, folks like you, Paula. They may get it from like an office manager if they're really savvy. But again, kind of to Mike's point, until it's a problem, they're not focused on it. Well, let's mitigate that from the beginning. Let's not let it ever get to a problem where you're writing off all this bad debt.
And usually the problem is when, Ty, I mean, you may not even know, but it's usually when they're ready to sell, right? They're about to sell and they're like, holy shit, where's all my money? And they're trying to collect it all in a matter of like 2 weeks.
That's exactly right. And you have no lead time. And so if you can be looking on a daily basis, like, what does my accounts receivable look like? Like, where am I at? That's something Vyne helps with. And we can do it based on age. We can do it like, where are you sitting right now in your accounts receivable? how long's it been since, the treatment was prescribed and then performed? And, we've already got claim submissions done and we're waiting on payments and stuff. And so that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to get these folks paid. We're trying to make sure that claims don't get rejected, right? And we're trying to make sure they not only get accepted, they get reimbursed fast. And obviously there's that patient portion that always sits there and exists after the fact as well. And we're going to help you there too. So we want to make sure we're literally capturing everything from before the patient comes in, inception of the patient, getting there, making sure they're eligible to be seen through their insurance, right? We're verifying insurance and that these claims are going through. So I think, if you're asking me really what it is that we do. So like, what are some of that we have found some of the biggest challenges that exist right now in the dental space? A lot of it is around like claim submission, right? So a lot of these dental offices, that's where it starts because it slows cash flow. And so what we have found is that one of the biggest claim submission challenges that these practices face today is incomplete or inaccurate documentation, right? So that could be missing attachments like your x-rays or your intraoral images. It could be miskeyed information. You get fat fingers going on, right? You could have eligibility issues. What happens is that these mistakes create delays, which then can lead to rejections. And then you've got these administrative bottlenecks. So now you've got, like I just talked to a doctor yesterday. The guy is backed up. He only submits like 10 claims. He's a very low submitter, but he's backed up 40 claims and he only submits 10 because he's backed up, and it's because they are getting rejected. So there's these delays.
Okay, Ty, you just struck gold, my friend. So what you just described is exactly the everyday doctor dentist practice that gets stuck in this world where you're doing the best you can every single day as a front office person, a doctor, all the people, all the things, and something doesn't get paid and it just sits. And so, and I know Paula talks to our doctors all the time, our clients, and I don't think people really have a system for going back and figuring that out, right, Paula? I mean, that's the meat and potatoes of it right there.
Well, I think the worst part of all of it, well, besides, docs not getting paid for the work they've done, is that patient doesn't get a statement for months on end.
That's the big thing. So if we just sit there and we play the black hole game of the delay or the rejection, that means that statement's never getting sent to the patient, right? And so now,
isn't it funny that when if it's 3 months later that you don't think they owe it anymore, it's like, oh, you didn't, why did you wait so long to send? You should have sent me it. Now I'm not paying it. It's
on the nose, right? So that's where you see the cliff. So if you're collecting, within that first 30 days, right? Good. They're willing to pay. It's fresh on their mind. I know I just got this done. I know what it's about. I know that, I was supposed to owe a portion. Great. I'm going to make that payment.
And I think where you guys are different, Ty, is you have real-time rejection. And I don't think that's in most of these claim submissions.
Yeah. And I mean, look, let's go back before claim submission. We can even go back a step further.
Going back to when I started dentistry.
No, I don't even mean that. I just mean before the patient steps foot in the practice.
Oh, got you. Treatment
is even prescribed. So I don't mean back in time where we start aging ourselves. I mean, I'm a patient and I come in.
Where's this episode going?
Right? It's important for the practice to know what this person is eligible for through their insurance provider. Mm-hmm. It's important for me to know what I can accept through my insurance and through these payers on what I can accept once I get there and treatment is prescribed to me, right? Exactly. And so that's actually one of the most important things we do. We want to start from the inception of that patient coming into the practice all the way through until the practice is paid by the payer and the patient. Those two things have to be connected. That's the full circle. That's the full revenue cycle. So what Vyne has built that is incredible is an automatic forward-looking search and data set that runs rules against eligibility for all these patients that are coming in. So it goes and looks at the calendar. All of your patients that are coming in the next 2 weeks, we are verifying their insurance and what their eligibilities are before they even get to your practice, right? Those that are missing something, Vyne actually has the ability to do something called text to verify. So they'll actually go and capture this missing information from the patient before they even step foot in the practice.
Automatically.
So now when the patient,
it's like, hey, we noticed that you didn't put your policy number in.
Anything. Policy number, it's missing a digit, somebody missed, whatever.
And so you'll text them and then the then the patient texts back.
And then you capture that info before they get there. And that way, when they step foot in the practice knows exactly what they're eligible for. They're verified through their insurance. They're ready to be seen, and they're ready to be prescribed.
Or you mean the step of they actually have to enter it into the computer as well.
That's kind of where I was going with this is, or I'd like to chat about, like, why aren't the front office guys doing this already, Paula, without Vyne? Like this is a bigger issue, right? Like I know that there's listeners or folks thinking, I don't need Vyne. I'm paying a front office person $35 an hour. She should be doing this. Why do I need this technology? What's the gap? Why does, Paula, like tangibly, like why does it not happen like it should in an office?
It's one of the biggest time suckers is calling and verifying insurance and getting some of that missing information. Even if you had the ability to call every one of them, you're getting a fax back, which has limited information. You got to go on portals. There's just a lot of unfortunately, insurance hasn't learned to streamline everything, and they're pretty archaic. So it's a lot of work. If we could go in one place, which Vyne allows to happen, to get all of that information, it's such a quicker, more efficient, probably even more thorough process than going to the individual patients' insurances.
And so that talks about the other problem we're here to solve, and that is what a pain in the ass. So Paula just kind of went through like what the process could be like for those that are not using a system like Vyne. Hopefully it is Vyne. If you're not a customer now, we're assuming you will be at some point.
Probably anyone listening to us is.
Yeah, exactly.
And so look, I just think that the process is there's time better spent. There's things that are more of a priority to a practice than spending it on that, especially if there's a system out there that does it real time. If it can happen that fast and it's crazy affordable, why would you not, use that at your practice and allow you to take excellent care? Here's what I always tell people. I'm lucky enough to have family that's in healthcare. The last thing that you want as a patient is to walk in and get the finger from the front desk or somebody there. And I don't mean the middle finger. I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
No. It's like, just give me 1 minute, and it's because they're on the phone and they're doing exactly that process that Paula just went through. And now I'm like, all right, whatever. Kind of just right out of the gates. It's just not the best experience right out of the gates, right? Yeah. As opposed to, hi, welcome. We'll get you right back. Here's a water. Like that's just such a more welcoming experience than, I'm constantly doing this game and I'm the finger, not the middle, but the other. That's an important thing to customer experience, but it goes back to
it's kind of the same finger though. It's like this is the
same as it's kind of saying the same.
It feels like it from a front office.
Feels like the patient sees this.
Exactly.
This is really what's happening.
But can we make the patient happy and the staff happy? We're going to make the staff happy because they don't have to go through this draconian process of going through multiple portals, being on the phone, dealing with rejections and stuff.
Can I ask, why do people pay so much money for other folks to manually do this? What's the miss?
Well, they don't. It's that you already have a team member you're already paying. And so you're thinking, anyone who doesn't understand the front thinks they've got all the time in the world up there to get stuff done. I used to think it. I'm a hygienist. Years ago, when I first started in dentistry, I thought, well, they have the luckiest job in the world. I'm stuck in this basically 2x2 room scaling teeth all day, can't even go to the bathroom. And they're up there walking around, greeting patients. What the hell are they doing with their time up there? Yeah. Until I had to do it. Then I'm like, can I go back to my 2x2 room and please scale teeth? They just want, number one, to utilize the people that they have up there.
But what about the people that outsource this to other people?
What do you mean?
Well, there's companies out there that you can pay to do insurance verification for you.
Well, I think
I'm asking why would you do that when
Michael, when people go to that extreme, it's usually the entry. So the verification, number one, the front office isn't going to do it very thoroughly. So when a doctor is in pain and they're consistently getting misrepresentation of a treatment plan, patient's upset, now they owe money, they start to say my front office doesn't know what they're doing, or they don't have the time for this, because that's what the front office will say, I don't have time for this. So they outsource it to get, number one, to make sure it's done, because there's a lot of things, even within this practice management software, that will verify, is a patient active with insurance? And a lot of times that's as far as a front office will take it. Oh, they're still active. Great. Let's go. We need a little more information than that. So I think it's just not a great job. Front office are complaining. And then the entry part does still take a lot of time. So sometimes, even if you've got something like Vyne where it's real time and you get all that information, you still have to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, for sure.
Anything to add to that, Ty, from your guys' perspective?
Well, first of all, I think Paula nailed it, right? So that's why I wanted to take that step back. I think what you're trying to do is eliminate surprises. What you're trying to do is get as close to possible when you're presenting what a patient might owe, what their portion is. You want to try and be as accurate as you possibly can. And so if you can do these things, I think one of the biggest problems that a lot of practices have right now is no visibility into real time. They don't know right now what that would look like. Like, what, it's a guess. It's a guess. Mm-hmm. And what Vyne really wants to do is eliminate the guess. We're going to do the eligibility check prior to, right? It's incredibly detailed. And then we're going to submit clean first-time claims. No rejections, no delays. We do not want that.
And
right?
That's the key right there.
That's the key. That's the key. So that now I know with a ton of confidence as the provider or whoever might be presenting that portion to the patient, this is what you're going to owe. Feel comfortable. You can feel confident, comfortable. This is what you're going to owe. We know, because we've already verified all of your insurance and your eligibility and benefits, right? We know that. We're going to go submit this claim. I'm going to get a real-time, claim.
Rejection.
In a lot of cases, either rejection or acceptance. And I now know what it is that you are going to owe. And that's huge. It's going to streamline a ton. And again, it goes back to what we're really trying to make everyone happy. We're trying to make it look back to Paula's point about the 90-day thing. Man, I don't want to get a bill in the mail 90 days after I got something done. Like, I got something done and use it in anything you want. Like, you get something done to your truck. I pay for it right now. I don't want to get something 120 days later with a bill and they're like, hey, you owe this. And it's like, I do.
Yeah. And then it's more than you could have ever thought it was.
So they give you like an inaccurate, amount, and then you get something that's higher, and now you're upset, right? So again, it's not making the patient happy, certainly not making the practice happy. So if we can just really streamline their workflow and let them focus time on things that really matter for the practice, that are going to help them generate more revenue for the practice, right? They can spend a little bit more time on campaigns and stuff that are a little bit more like high dollar procedures that folks can come in for. Maybe on community outreach that gets the name out there, the brand awareness for the practice. Those things are important, and it keeps people coming in. It keeps a steady flow of new patients coming in. And obviously it's going to keep their current patients super happy too. They know what to expect. They're not pissed off, and it happens really fast. It happens close to the procedure time, which is important.
I mean, this really is just all about patient experience. I mean, down from accuracy of a treatment plan to cutting the time and the half of the front office, not getting the finger when you walk through the door, to getting those real-time rejections or acceptances, and then getting that money back a lot quicker because of that clean claim, getting the bill in the mail or the invoice if you didn't collect at the time of service. All of that is really just all patient experience. And anytime there's a hiccup, one of my front office coach and I talk about it all the time. We joke, but we're dead serious. Most people leave a dental practice because of the front.
Everybody's heard that.
Is a mismanagement of the money. Usually they don't even know what their dentist is doing back there, as long as they don't hurt them. They don't know, what's really happening, and they just love their hygienist. Usually they have that rapport. So it's really the front that.
And people are very skeptical of their dentist and money for some reason. I think our clients, I think dentists in general, are too sensitive about it, and then they need to just go for it and not think about money so much. But the fact that they are sensitive to it, it calls to the fact that patients are a little okay, this is a beautiful office. What's going on? I had my sister just told me this weekend, she's she went to a new dentist because her dentist is having some troubles. And I referred her to a doctor I helped in downtown Seattle, and she got diagnosed 3 crowns. She's like, well, my other dentist didn't do that, and now this dentist is, and she's got money, she can handle this, but it's very skeptical, right? And when you're not dialed at the front, it makes it all the more right? Like, oh, we'll let you know, or I think it's going to be around $2,000. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, get your shit together, guys. Like, it's already a sensitive topic. You know what I mean?
It really is. And I do think that there's some other things that are happening right now in the space that are helping with the credibility of the doctor themselves. So I think when you're talking about like more of the imaging, kind of like where that direction is going right now with like the addition of AI and looking at imaging that way, that's going to be a big help. It already has helped a lot of practices. What it does is it allows the doctor to not overdiagnose, and the patient sees it real time because they're in the chair and they see.
Wait, Ty, have you met a dentist that overdiagnoses? Because I want them as a client.
Yeah.
But as a doctor, I certainly don't want to underdiagnose. I don't want to not go fix something that is truly wrong.
That's
right?
what
So it is actually a win-win. And so if I'm a doctor working with a patient and we can collaborate together, literally we're looking at the same imaging, and I can go run it through this incredible technology and say, see that thing that like I saw it and now this thing sees it too. And it's telling us it's a real problem and we have to fix it. Okay. That credibility right there. Like it's solved. That is solved.
Well, it's sad that they're oral healthcare providers though. And it takes all that for a patient to believe them.
It's
true. I'm telling you, you go to your doctor and you're going to believe anything they say.
It's true.
But I want to get back to my 2 favorite things about Vyne. Well, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but doing the screenshot of like the attachments. So 2 things, I'll just say them at the same time because they both have to do with attachments. You guys are one flat fee when it comes to the submission and adding attachments. There's many out there that it's per attachment. If you have a secondary claim, it's even, submitting the primary claim. It's the x-rays, it's the intraoral photos, where with you all, I hope that never changes. There's no additional fees. So I love that. And then the second thing is the ease of taking those screenshots within it so that, it's less work, more streamlined. So you want to hit on
Is this
both
the clearinghouse discussion part of it? Is that, this is me being dumb here?
You're not dumb at all. And it's kind of, so we're getting into that. And so what it is this is how we keep from the claims getting rejected. This right here is how we keep that from happening. Mm-hmm. And it's an important topic to bring up. We run like a rule set against every claim that's getting ready to be sent off, right? And we actually have tools built into the platform that will tell the practice, this will not get accepted. This will get rejected, and here's why. So they can go fix it. That way, no claims are delayed or rejected. They're going to get accepted. If you follow our rule set, because we are the clearinghouse and we have all these payer connections, we know what will and will not get accepted, right? And what will get rejected. So if you just follow our rules, it's going to get accepted and you're going to get reimbursed super fast. We can get you a real-time claim acceptance in a lot of cases, or a rejection if something's wrong, but you should never get a rejection if everything is followed through with our rule set. So back to the attachment piece. Yes, I too, Paula, hope we never change this because it is one of our best selling features. And I am a sales guy and I love selling the value of this and the ability to do it on an unlimited basis, unlimited claims, unlimited attachments. We're not charging per claim. We're not charging per attachment is an incredible thing to be able to tell people. And you see people's eyes go wide and like, wait, what? I've been paying per claim. What is
Wait, sometimes they don't know they've been paying for claims. I'll get an office with like has Dentrix and their bill's like $1,400 a month. And it's like, whoa, what is happening here?
Oh, especially with the high claim submitters, right? They're always like very excited. And they're like, wait a second. So they think there's like something else like to it. They think there's going to be some back end charges. There's not. It's unlimited and it's a flat rate, which is great. So what do we do? Obviously, the way to get a claim accepted and pushed through faster and get real-time claims is the inclusion of imaging. So obviously, imaging has been done. That's how we obviously diagnosed the problem at hand and how we told the patient we're going to go fix it. Including that in the claim when we submit it over is a surefire way to make sure that it gets accepted. This is our proof of the treatment needing to be presented to the patient and then obviously executed. And so now they have everything they need, right? So this is all the patient's information from an eligibility perspective and their insurance and who the payers are. And then we're going to submit this claim with all of the information you would ever need to make a decision. inclusive of images. And then with that, we actually have this cool tool now that I guess I can tell you guys about. You may or may not know about it. Depending on the imaging system they have, we have the ability to do what we call image sync. So yes, Paula, we have the ability to go in and do a quick screen capture of the images and pull it right into the claim, like right inside the platform, right? Crazy easy, no big deal. We have it even faster now, though.
But what does that mean, Ty, compared to how other clearinghouses do it?
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, you guys are special because we can take a screenshot. Now, I know you have even a better way now, but let's just go back to today before you tell this. How is that different than?
Well, I mean, a lot of them you have to like print it out and go put it into envelopes and lick the stamp and do all the manual.
Or you have to download it and then upload it.
Right. So depending on what it is, and again, some clearinghouses, it's not even a download upload situation. It's like I have to go grab this thing, print it out, throw it in an envelope, send it out. Everything we're doing is e-claim. So it's literally just screen capture, boom, it's right there in the claim immediately. But in most cases, we have something called image sync, where we already have it's already locked up, the patient information, right? So we've already read eligibilities and we know what the treatment is. They click a button and it snags the imaging that was taken for that patient for that particular procedure, pulls it right into the claim. So instead of having to go even take the little screen capture thing, pull it in, you click a button, it syncs with the imaging that was taken and pulls it right into the claim.
How does it know what image to grab?
Because it's all linked up through everything that was just done. So it's all linked up through the procedure, right? Because it's pulled into the claim that was just provided.
Okay.
Right there. And so it links up with the imaging that was just taken. So there's a little bit of work to make sure that when the imaging was taken, that it links up. But
yeah, I was going to say, what if the imaging wasn't taken today?
Bad data in, bad data out. So if they didn't do it correctly when they took it, you might not be able to pull it, but then you still have that screen capture feature. So if you're doing it correctly and you're following the procedure, you click a button, it image syncs and it pulls the images in, and then you fire it off right from that claim. And then
that's awesome.
Batch claims too is a big one. So being able to send all these claims out in mass, and you know that they're going to get accepted, right? So everything has these tags in the bars, and it says if something's going to get rejected or accepted. And so
I will say, like, a common theme in the world of dental and consulting and coaching and all the stuff that you guys talk to your clients about, Ty, isn't it funny how it always comes back to crap in, crap out? Like hold on. Where I'm going with this is like, half the practice's issues up front are simply because Nancy Joe, poor Nancy Joe. We always use the name Nancy Joe. I don't know where I came up with that name, but Nancy Joe at the front just doesn't know the software very well. She's not trained on Open Dental, whatever, Dentrix. So she's just kind of meandering through, and it's making her life living hell. If they actually get trained by you and Open Dental and all these different cool things, man, they could be so much easier for them. So I picked up on that when you said that you have all of these cool integrations, but sometimes it's crap in, crap out. And it doesn't work very well.
You're right. And so having cool shit to use in practice
yes.
is one thing, but if not properly used or trained upon, it doesn't matter. It's cool stuff that's just sitting there unused.
Cool stuff.
Really important to have a really robust, onboarding program where people are getting fully trained on how it works. But it's also nice to know that the majority of what's happening is happening in the background. I don't have to go in. The less they have to know about our platform, the better. That's actually how we view this.
Yeah.
The things that are happening without them even doing anything, pushing buttons or doing it on their own, the better off we are, because now they're happy too, right?
I love that.
And the faster the process is. So, yeah.
Well, we're at a place in the program where we usually pull a question in from the audience. This is live, folks. If you see one of these programs online and you plan to join us, you can jump in and ask us any question that you want. I did get an opportunity to see something here that one of our top front office coaches, Stefani, who's a big fan of Vyne and what you guys do. She asked a softball question that I think the audience, if a front office person's watching this or a doctor's, might be curious to answer. So is it easy to make corrections directly on Vyne, or do you have to go back into the PMS to make corrections? Ty, do you know how to answer that?
I do, but it's, I hate to ask follow-up questions. It depends.
Oh, geez.
I know, right? But it depends on what you're trying to correct. So just It depends on what information you may be trying to edit or correct, obviously. Yes, Vyne is incredibly customizable. There's so many things you can go in and change within Vyne, as Paula probably knows. She's obviously very familiar, but it kind of depends. There's some information that just quite simply would have to be PMS led, meaning it would have to go back and get corrected.
Yeah.
A lot of times, though, it's going to be able to be done inside the platform, kind of like imaging, right? Like we can sync directly and pull the image in. We can go in and add in the correct number, what the, imaging code, all of those things can be edited inside of Vyne before you send it off. So most of the stuff, no, does not need to be corrected in the PMS, but there are some things obviously we just can't. It's hard coded and would have to be updated in the PMS.
That's your disclaimer for the day. I like it.
That's my disclaimer. Most of the time you can do it in Vyne. Sometimes not so much.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Ty, anything that you'd like to add that you really wanted to get out?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure too, if there was anything else that new that you're allowed to talk about.
Any AI stuff that you're playing with? I mean, it
cool.
seems.
Can I bring up some stuff? I'd love to give a little.
Yeah, get it out.
Cool.
You got 1 second.
I got 1 second. Oh my god. Look, I think one big thing that we want everybody to know is, and I'm going to go back to it again. I'm going to beat this dead horse, and I'm cool with it. We're looking for more problems to solve, so we're going to always do that. That's the commitment we've made as Vyne, is to continue to look for things to go, create a solution for. And so with that, we're not just a claims processing company, and a lot of people think that that's like the one spot we're sitting in, and we do it incredibly well. And you should absolutely come sign up for us to get that. But what you really need to know is we're solving a lot more problems too. So we have things out there that help practices grow. So if you're looking to bring in new patients, we've got a lot of stuff in the works that can help you do that. We have campaigns. We can help you get more reviews online. We have online scheduling that comes with a live web chat. It's a real person helping your patients get scheduled, like maybe if they're coming to your site after hours. One of the biggest things we have, formless intake. So we can make sure your patients are all signed in and checked in before they ever get to your practice. It all writes back into your practice management software. So your patients love it. They're not sitting down with a stack of paperwork to go fill out. The staff doesn't have to go spend a whole bunch of time manually entering it in. But one of the big things we didn't get to hit on as much, and I want to kind of focus here, is the patient portion of payments, because that's important too. We talked about the claim submission, all that good stuff.
Sure.
We also have a very robust payments offering that integrates seamlessly with these practice management softwares. And so we can not only help these practices collect payment at the point of care at a nearly guaranteed lower rate than you're paying now. And the reason I can say that is because we do not charge, PCI compliance fees or per transaction fees. We don't charge any of that stuff. We don't charge mid minimums. We literally have a flat rate. And I would say 9.9 times out of 10, it'd be less expensive. But we also do mobile pay. So if somebody leaves the office not paying their portion, and maybe it takes you 30 days to send that statement, we're going to include a QR code they can scan and make a payment right to you right from their phone. And then we're going to remind them. So going back to that, trying to mitigate that like bad debt write-off. We're trying to mitigate that.
So it really bridges the gap on the patient balances. So not only are you guys putting all of these solutions together on the insurance side, which is complicated and troublesome, but now you're kind of pivoting and trying to put this whole thing together on the patient side. That's
bringing it full circle. Yep. And then when a payment gets made, we're going to write that back into the ledger in the PMS too. So once again, we're taking that off the plate of the staff. They don't have to go in and batch out every day and then go manually enter in all the payments that we're doing that for them. So we're taking care of that.
Nice.
Cool.
So saving people lots of money, lots of time, making them money, getting them paid. So there's a lot more to the platform than just the claims processing and clearinghouse. Although we do that incredibly well, and that's going to continue to be, kind of our what we roll forward with. We have a lot of other solutions that help solve a lot of problems in the industry.
Nice.
I love that.
All patient experience.
That's right.
Well, folks, if you're looking to learn a lot more about Vyne and kind of just this whole cash flow, claims management, patient bills, all of that whole thing, reach out to Ty. We're going to put his link down below, contact information, Ty, if that's cool, or maybe give me a link of where you want folks to go to. It's absolutely cool. Reach out to me directly. Happy to help. Okay, perfect. And tell them that you heard it from Next Level or Dental Unscripted. I'm sure they would like to hear that. So, thank you so much for being part of the program. I again, it's one of those topics that's just not super sexy, but it's so important And again, folks, pull your head out of your loops, take your loops off, and start looking at some reports, because by God, like, you could put an extra $10,000 a year into a retirement probably, because you're being smarter about collecting money that you maybe didn't really know or need, but just being better at this stuff. Don't wait until it's a problem. And I think Ty and his team can help with that, and Next Level certainly can too. So with that being said, thank you too for your time today. I had fun learning about lots of weird stuff on the insurance side, but I think we made it fun with the middle fingers and all the stuff. So guys,
no, it wasn't the middle finger.
It was the middle finger. Yeah.
Well, if you listen to the episode, you knew what the finger was. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Ty, we'll be talking soon, and appreciate your time today.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.